I'm gonna bring receipts every time. So in the video I just made and the video before that, I'm starting to see comments saying Korra could have just asked the past lives. I notice when people are put in a corner when it comes to things Korra should have done, that's the first thing they like to say. The past lives could have helped. The fact that she didn't look to them more often is bad writing. It's bad writing, right? Let's see how that worked for Aang, everyone's favorite avatar. I mean, he looked to them a lot. They must have been extremely helpful, right? Let's see. Book 3, Fire, Episode 19, Sozin's Comet 2, Old Masters. This is when Aang asks multiple of his past lives some advice on how to deal with Ozai. Let's see what they said. Roku tells Aang the story about how he was basically too soft and indecisive, so his wisdom to Aang was to be decisive. Now let's not forget, when Aang goes into the fight with Ozai, he is still indecisive. He doesn't know what he wants to do, he doesn't know how he wants to handle it, which is why he was getting smoked for most of that fight. And of course people are going to try and debate this, so I'm going to say, even though you don't need the creators to tell you this, because it's pretty obvious, the creators already said this. Aang was very indecisive going into the fight, which is why he was holding back. This is the same reason you see him point his finger at Ozai when he had the lightning in it, and then he looked away. He still did not know how he wanted to handle this fight. So Roku's advice falls completely flat. He doesn't listen and it doesn't help. What about Kyoshi? I know it's a meme now that she's just a murderous psychopath, but that's basically what she tells Aang to do. After telling him the story of Chin, and Aang tries to let her know technically he didn't kill him because he was just too stubborn to move and he fell to his death. Kyoshi lets him know, personally she doesn't see the difference. She still killed him, and it was justice, and justice brings peace. Aang himself said he shouldn't have asked Kyoshi because obviously she would allude to murder, and obviously Aang would not want to do that, so he moves on to the next past life. Now if Kuruk just said you must actively shape your own destiny and the destiny of the world, I would have said this was perfect advice for Aang. But he tells him this on the back of a story where Ko stole the woman he loved, and he feels like he should have been more active, he should have paid more attention as the Avatar. So he's also alluding to the fact that you need to get your enemies up out of here and not be so lackadaisical, which is why Aang also doesn't find this helpful either. Which is why he's so excited to talk to Yang Chen. He figures another air nomad would know exactly what he's going through and basically tell him what he wants to hear. And his whole demeanor changed when he speaks to Yang Chen. I'm a vegetarian, I don't hurt anybody, I've never taken a life, which is low-key cap. He's waiting for her to tell him exactly what he wants to hear. He's so happy. And what does Yang Chen tell him? That he'd have to sacrifice his spiritual needs and commit to his duty as the Avatar. And as the Avatar, he has to do whatever it takes to protect the world. Every single past life Aang talked to, in their own way, told him to do exactly what he doesn't want to do, which is basically murder Ozai. Look how crushed his little face is when even the air nomad, who he felt like would understand him completely, tells him the same exact thing. This is probably one of the reasons he went into the Ozai fight so conflicted, because he knew in his soul that's not what he wanted to do, but every single past life that you guys swear have all the best wisdom on the planet, all 4 of these people just said the same thing. Kill Ozai, Aang, get in the field. Get your hands dirty, get in the field, kill Ozai. But they're so wise. And you guys act like if Korra said that to the new Avatar, she's the dumb one. Like, that's not all they say. Matter of fact, let's bring up the comics. Let's not forget how dogshit Roku's advice was in The Promise. When he tells Aang, he reveals to him in the same breath, Zuko is my grandson, and kill him. Kill him again. This is the same advice that they gave in the show. Kill him. And even Aang is appalled. How could you possibly ask me to do something like that? And he repeats what all the past lives have been telling Aang this whole time. Because you're the Avatar, and nothing goes above your duty as the Avatar, so get in the field and kill one of your closest friends, Aang, because you're the Avatar. But they're so wise. Every time Korra tries to make a decision for herself, you guys are like, she should have talked to the past lives, it's bad writing. The fact that she won't talk to them is bad writing. But I'm showing y'all, they always tell Aang to do the same thing, and he never listens. Kill this guy, get this guy out of the way, and Aang's like, there's probably a better way to do this. And there usually is. And he does it by himself. It's like all you guys actually remember from Atla is that it was good. That's it. Like, you hold on to that one idea and you forget how it actually went, how things actually went for Aang, what he actually did, what he actually said. All you remember is Atla is best, must defend Atla. And just to drive the point home even more, Aang realizes that the world has changed. It's a different kind of world he's inhabiting, and he cannot keep looking to the past to help him. So for a little while, he ends up cutting communication with Roku. That's how dogshit their advice has been. He needs to do things his own way. Now, the past lives have been useful. When they took over Aang's body during the Ozai fight, that's probably the most useful they've ever been. because Aang just could not make a decision and he was about to be murdered. So when they ragdolled Ozai for him, it gave him time to finally understand what he needed to do. Then he took control back and officially defeated Ozai. Also, when Aang spoke to Korra and he tells her when we hit our lowest point we're open to our greatest change, and she unlocks the Avatar state, restoring her bending because of Aang's words. A lot of y'all thought he gave her bending back because he touched her forehead. I need you guys to understand how the Avatar state works in general. Aang is not a separate being holding her bending for her. It's her activating the Avatar state. Please read a book, Avatar Chronicles, before y'all even try and debate me. But the point is, they have been useful in the past, but for the most part, they're not, which is why Aang didn't listen that much, and probably why the creators didn't use them that much. I feel like because Roku was such a homie to Aang, you guys are assuming the past lives are just the answer to everything, despite the show and the comics. Like the two biggest pieces of Aang media showing you that's not the case. I've made a video like this before, but there was a reason they were so quick to get rid of the past lives. They were honestly just plot devices, and not very good ones.